Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks, and today I thought we would make some nice spring cards. I've already started some of them just because I was practicing putting the decoupage on. So what we're going to do is we're going to decoupage one side, and then the other side is actually going to be the side that we'll be writing on and stuff. But we're going to do a bunch of painting and collage on them as well. So I do have these old napkins that my mother-in-law gave me that were actually her mother's. Napkins were really important to her. So we're going to use these. Now, one thing I'm going to probably do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. Make sure that's not going to mess anything up. It's not. So let's go ahead and cut down the napkins first because they're too tall. And when they're bundled together, it's a little bit easier than when they're not. So I'm just going to cut them down just a wee bit like that. And then the other thing that we need to worry about is these napkins have 2 layers in them. So by 2 layers, what I mean is if you go to the corners, there is a top layer. If I can grab it. Oh, goodness, I got 2 layers in one. Okay, cool. Oh, but it's not the layer that I wanted. Okay, so I've got 1 layer off right now, but there's a second layer on this one, so be careful. Some of your napkins will have 3 layers, and this is one of them. Let's see where a corner is again, because I can see them. They're just really tough to get, and you can use tape to get it. I don't know, I like doing stuff the hard way, I guess. But yeah, so there's 3 layers in here. So I've got that, and then I can just simply cut this in half because I've got 2 more. I'm making 10 cards in total, and I've got 2 that I haven't decoupaged yet because I was wanting to make it to where we already have some dry ones whenever I get to the point that I'm going to add paint and stuff. So I have a 5x7 cardstock here, and then what I'm going to use is I have matte medium, and then I also have the little glue stick that I've been using. These are just literally foam brushes. You can buy a ton of them for like a couple bucks at Hobby Lobby, or you can get them online. You can get them wherever. But let me get in the camera a little bit more. There we go. And now I'm just going to use some matte medium and go over top of them. You can add matte medium at the bottom and then go over top of it again. But especially with these ones where it's got like 3 layers of napkin, it's very, very thin tissue. So it's going to go through anyway. And why risk it, ripping whenever you can just do it all in one go and put it through a little less trauma. So that's what I'm doing here. Of course, I'll say that and I'll rip it somehow. And if that happens, we'll deal with it then. But yeah, so I just thought it would be nice to send some friends and family these nice little cards. What really got me the idea of it was I was watching Dee Dee Willingham on Monday, and on Monday she was talking about napkins, napkin journals and stuff, because she gave away some napkins. I actually won that giveaway that Sandra had given her, and it made me think, man, I really have the bug. I would like the bug to want to make something with napkins. So, oh, there's my torn napkin. I knew it was going to happen at some points because I got my finger stuck to it. Matte medium dries quick, but that's okay. That part will just look a little more textured. But yeah, so I won her giveaway, and it had some napkins from Sandra in it, and I was like, you know what, I have a ton of napkins anyway, and I have been wanting to collage with them lately. So, and Dee Dee's also been using her Bee's Knees book to make a bee journal, and I have that book, so I was like, why not? Sounds like a good plan to me. So here's our first decoupaged card. So That's all it looks like right there. We just made sure to get all the pieces to where it doesn't have too much puffing up. And then here's our second card that I haven't done yet. I'm just gonna wipe some of that on there. And here's our napkin. But yeah, I was just like, yes, this is what I want to do with my life right now. I want to make some napkin stuff. So thank you, Dee Dee, for the encouragement. I always find Dee Dee's streams to be very insightful, and like they make you just want to go out and do stuff, art stuff, mind you. But yeah. So I just, whoops, we got a little bit of a tear there. I'm talking and going a little hard, I think. But I always appreciate her stream because I feel like I always get inspired to do things afterwards. So I just thought it would be nice to make some springtime cards, just kind of like a thinking of you type thing where it's just like, hey, hope your spring's going well, thinking of you, you know, something like that. Nothing too crazy. All right. So now that these girls are all glued down, we just gotta wait for them to dry, and then we can start making some magic happen. Once again, I am using matte medium for this process. You could probably use Mod Podge or glue or whatever you got going on, and I'm sure that's fine. I just prefer matte medium because I know it's super sticky. Now, one of the things you do want to make sure you do is whenever you have your matte medium, take a little plastic bag and do this with it before you put the lid on. Otherwise, you can glue your lid on. Ask me how I know. But you should definitely do that. But yeah, so while these two dry, we do have all of these other cards here that have been drying as well. And I think the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to use my bee stencil, and we're going to get some bees on here and make them look pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn these, now that they're dry, into this. And we're just gonna use a couple of simple stencils. That's all I'm gonna do. I have this stencil that I got on Amazon. It's very used. It's just got honeycomb and some bees on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these, and we're gonna do the black on them first. So for the black, how I'm gonna add it is I've got a brush, which I've had it in water because I tested this out a couple of hours ago. So it just needs to dry for a second. Here we go. Anyway, what I've got, oops, we actually got a little bit of black on there. That's okay. I'm gonna put my stencil down over the card, and I want the bee to be up here. And I don't want this weird border showing because I want it to go over that. So I'm gonna make sure that my card is inside of it a little bit, like that. And then you just take some black paint and you just kind of brush it over it everywhere that you want it to be black. And I just want the top corner here. Make it go over to the side a bit. And if I want it to be a little darker, just add a little bit more paint because I'm seeing that I'm not getting very good coverage on there. So I'm just gonna add a bit more paint to it. There we go, that's much better because I want it to be black, black. Be careful not to move your paper too much, and you can go over as far as you want. And then it looks like this, but we're gonna be adding the gold to it, so don't panic whenever you see it looking like that. And then I'm just gonna take it and do some of those little square things over here, some of the honeycomb. That way it just kind of goes together a little bit. And lift it up. So it's gonna look like a mess at first, but don't let that freak you out, because this mess is gonna turn into what I just showed you already. So I'm gonna set this one to the side, and I'm gonna continue doing this. On this part, I probably will fast forward until we get to the next part, which is adding the gold. So enjoy. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it from that into this. And to do that, it's really easy. All you need is some gold paint, and we're not even gonna worry about getting anything perfect. All you want is just the gold, and it's gonna be enough, I promise. So what you'll do is in any of these honeycomb areas, just do like a circle mark of gold. And then when we get to our bee, we'll do our stripes and a bit of wing. But you don't even fill up the honeycomb all the way or care about the shape of it. You're just getting it in there so that it's looking good. And it's gonna pick up all the texture of the napkin, because remember, we're painting on top of napkins here. So that texture is gonna look really cool. And I'm just using a cheapy brush. This was a dollar store painting brush. So don't worry about, you know, using anything crazy or anything like that. Just use your cheap art supplies for this one. This is a good cheap art supplies kind of project. Sometimes you want your good brushes. For this, you don't. But you're just gonna splotch it in there. And it's just gonna be something to kind of draw the eyes to it. Plus we gotta get the detail back into the bee. Because the bee did not necessarily do a good job of staying a bee. So this just kind of helps it out a little bit. But it's gonna make it to where that black is now popping backwards a bit, and it's not gonna be so overbearing. That way this can look nice for whoever you're giving it to. And I'm sure not all bee stencils are gonna do this. This is just a stencil that I have from Amazon. So some of them might and some of them might not. But we're gonna go ahead and put little stripes on our bee, because hopefully somebody will not think this is a spider and realize, hey, there's a bee there. So we're just giving it some stripes. And then I added a little bit of gold to the wings too, not a lot, just some definition. You know, it depends on your stencil. If the stencil looks good enough without it, you could probably go without. I just don't think mine does. So I'm just kind of doing an abstract bee idea. And like I said, doesn't need to be perfect. Nobody's going to be judging it. They're just going to be happy that you made them a card. At least that's how I feel. I'd be like, oh yay, this person spent some time on me. How nice of them. And I will be collaging a little bit on the back of this card too. So hopefully in doing that, it will flatten it out a bit. because the papers are starting to roll a bit. But I don't think it's going to be a huge problem in the great scheme of things. Let me just rub a little bit of gold in there. Yeah, so look kind of like that. And the idea is this is supposed to be the bee and this is the honeycomb. But to kind of give you an idea, this is what one looks like all dry. And then this is what it looks like when it's still wet. So hopefully that gives you a good idea, and I will continue painting these on fast forward. Okay, so now all 10 of those images are drying. So we can go through here. This is the collage soup the bees knees, and what I'm thinking is I definitely want a small bee on each page if I can find a small bee. Like there's a bunch of bees on this page, so I'm probably gonna tear it out because I don't really care for this lady on the other side because her face is kind of scary. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 bees that are usable there, which is great. And then another 5, 6, 7. If I can get that ripped good. Yeah, we can still use that one. So 5, 6, 7. That could be an 8th bee. And I would like these flowers. I'm ripping out a lot of pages, I noticed. That's okay. I think these flowers would be great. Let's see, so we had 6 bees. Where's some other regular bees at? She's got bees in her hair. Here's some fuzzy bees. So that could work. Big old fuzzy bees. Okay, what else do we got? Oh, this page had a bunch of bees on it too. And then let's see if we can find some smaller ladies. If we could find some smaller ladies, that would put us in a good spot. Let's see. We got lots of honey. So I see a bunch of bigger ladies, but I would like to see if there's some like small queen bees or something. I think I needed one more bee. So this could work for one of them. Tear that out. Okay, and then let's see, do we have smaller ladies in here though? That's what I'd like. See some of these ladies, but not really. We've got a couple queen bees. That could be fun. We're gonna rip out one of these. Because one of the people I'm sending these to happens to like the queen quite a bit. So I will definitely be using that one. Let's see. Not really seeing any small ladies in this, so let's go ahead and stick to the bees that we've got and some flowers. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna flip these to the other side now. And I've got all my beeswax. And let's see here. Let's get a flower cut out. Do we have 10 flowers on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this has 8 flowers on it. We'll have to cut out some more flowers. But let's go ahead and where are my scissors? Here they are. You can snizzle out some nice flowers here. So then we're gonna fussy cut a little bit. I'm gonna keep a little bit of the greenery just to kind of make it look a little bit more natural. And here's another little leaf guy. So I'm just gonna actually cut my own shape for this leaf. That way we're not doing anything too complicated. Okay, so here's our first flower. Now we need a bee. So let's do one of our bees on the first page here, and I can actually get the rest of my flowers that I'm missing from here. So let's take some bees from this. I see a bee that's right here, so I'm just gonna go in for the kill here, and we're just going to circle it out. On the bees, I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving because I don't want a fussy cut like that. So I'm just going to go around it like that. And what we could do is put our little image there, something like that. And then I really want gold around the edges. So I probably will actually take some of this gold in. Or I might have a paint marker. Let's see if I have a paint marker. That could be helpful. Paint markers. Where did I put those? Just perusing here. Paint marker. Here it is. So let's shake this bad boy up and do a bit of a border. Up. Uh-oh. There we go. My marker is not wanting to do what it's supposed to do. So these edges might be a little wild. It's got paint in it, it's just not getting into the nib very well. We'll just drag it a bit in the paint. Not really how I wanted to do this, but that's okay. I was hoping for more of a clean, concise line. But like with most art projects, we're gonna get a little messy apparently. There's that gold edge. Yeah, because it is soupy as all heck, but it is not wanting to adhere to the nib is the problem. That means I need new pens, in case you were wondering. Well, now that was just about painful, wasn't it? All right, well, at least we got that there. So I've got the gold around it, and I'm going to glue down my flower. I'm just going to use Elmer's glue. If I can get it to come out. Why is this being such a struggle right now? There we go. Like I just used this last night. I might need to refill it soon. That might be why it's being such a busybody. Okay, so I've got my glue. I'm just gonna stick my flower on like that. And then I personally, I don't mind glue on my hands, but I do use a paper towel and I'll just wipe it away and then I kind of press it down. And that's how I typically glue things. But to each is their own. And then we've got our little bee friend. Put our bee friend right here. I think that looks too bad. You can tell that it's supposed to be a bee, which is, you know, half the battle. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I have any bee stamps or anything like that. That would be kind of cool. So give me a moment. Okay, so I'm back and I found some flowers and some yellow ink. So that could be really fun. So I'm just gonna, I have no idea how good this ink is. I've never used it. those stressed oxide yellow, or fossilized amber is what it's called. So we're about to see how fossilized it is. Because if this is a good stamp, then we're gonna be seeing more of it. Ooh, yeah, I like that a lot. And then I think we could use something in the corner too. I think maybe yellow again. Let's see. I also have this little bunch of flowers. So we could do that. And put it up here. Okay. So I definitely like that. So now we've got a lot of yellows going on. We've got flowers. And then really what I want these to be is like a thinking of you type card. So that's what they're gonna be. I'm not gonna label them right now because they're gonna be personalized to each person. But this is what I think the backs of these are gonna look like. So I will put it on fast forward and then I will continue putting these together. Okay, so I was going to record the process of making these, but I ended up running into a lot of issues. Number one was that paint pen. That paint pen did end up dying after 2 cards. So then I ended up doing more cards with paint on the sides, and at first I tried to hand paint like this one, and then I ended up painting with a brush. So I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to show you all the different cards that I've got in here. So we've got this one, this one.
Can I do cartoons?
This one. Go ask Daddy. This one. This one. This one. This one. This one. This one, and this one. So that completes all of the cards now. And so
now so what lovely art we made.
Yes, what lovely art we made. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, that's exactly right. Liking and subscribing. Thank you.
And don't forget to press the bell.
That's right. You can get the bell for notifications. That's right. You're a good helper, Ronan. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget to find more videos of us.
Yep, find more videos of us. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.